Hi there, this is Ronnie Amber's Night coming in with a video. I'm going to link to an article from QWERTY.com with regards to a woman who is taking her former employer to court citing discrimination and intolerance. She claims she was sacked for being a Christian. No, she wasn't. And anyone having a cursory look at the facts will show that she wasn't. Unfortunately, she's playing the persecuted Christian card, which seems to be a running gag now with a lot of people. I will read a little bit of the report here. According to New Park Childcare, the London-based nursery that fired her, the 30-year-old was officially let go for gross misconduct and harassment after a disciplinary meeting found her guilty of provoking her lesbian co-worker. According to New Park, Sarah Mubai, if I'm beginning to pronounce that correctly, routinely probed a lesbian co-worker about her sexuality, pushed her beliefs on co-workers, and even gave her lesbian co-worker a Bible as a get-well-soon gift after an unrelated workplace accident. I mean, she's not being fired for being a Christian. She's being fired because she was being a bully. She was fired because she was pushing beliefs that people did not want to hear onto people who didn't want to hear them in the workplace. Now, this notion that she is being discriminated against for being a Christian is simply ludicrous. And I do hope that the court actually does something more here than simply dismiss this case. I hope that this case never gets heard. I hope the judge looks at the facts of the case and throws this case out with prejudice. That would mean that she would be unable to file again. Because there are people around the world who are being persecuted for being Christian. They are being tortured, they are being imprisoned, even murdered around the world, simply for being Christian. That's real persecution, folks. Being fired because you were being an obnoxious bully and shoving your religion in everyone's faces at your workplace, and bullying a co-worker simply because they were gay and getting fired for it is not persecution. It's not discrimination. It's called good working practice. Of course the bosses had to fire her. She was being an obnoxious bully. It's quite simple. The article actually refers to her as a Christian nutjob. I'm not sure that helps, to be honest. It may be what the individual reporter thinks regarding the woman in question. However, I don't think it's helpful to start, labeling people as nutjobs. In what is, seen as journalism. As a personal opinion, I think she's a nutter. But it goes back to this notion of religious freedom. And I've come to a conclusion regarding religious freedom. it would appear that religious freedom only seems to apply to people who want to discriminate. There's a guy in America who is actually suing the United States of America. And I've got a feeling that his case will go to the Supreme Court. He's suing them. He is a minister in a church who wishes to conduct same-sex weddings and is being denied the right to do so. So he's suing the government for being denied the right because they've put religious exemptions in place. And he is suing them on the grounds that his religious freedom has been compromised. His religious freedom should allow him the right to perform same-sex marriage. And this is something that seems to go along here. As I say, religious freedom all too often is being used as an excuse for intolerance and discrimination and prejudice. You know, if you object, you know, some person representing a religion in one form or another says something homophobic. Someone, you know, first of all, they claim they have the religious right to discriminate. Secondly, if you challenge their beliefs, they claim that their freedom of speech is being denied. Wrong. Wrong. If your freedom of speech was being denied, you wouldn't be allowed to say it. Freedom of, as I've said in another video, freedom of speech has never been absolute. There are exemptions to freedom of speech. You're not allowed, example, to lie on the stand when giving evidence without censure. I mean, you can do it, but if you're caught doing it, you can go to prison. You know, it's a criminal offence. It's also a criminal offence to put lies or state lies. I can never remember whether that's slander or, you know, but you know, you can't just voice something you know to be a lie and state it as truth. You also can't use your freedom of speech to incite criminality, be it violence or any other sort of criminal act. So there's always been restrictions, logical, acceptable restrictions to freedom of speech. You know, you can't just blab state secrets. You get done for treason. Again, it's an understandable and rightful curtailment of freedom of speech. Although, you know, I sometimes salute whistleblowers for standing up for the truth. But this notion that the minute you say you're wrong, that somehow you're interfering with freedom of speech, wrong. Freedom of speech comes with the caveat that if you say something in a public forum, be it on a pulpit, be it in a political forum, be it online, you accept that some people will agree with what you say and some people will disagree. This is going out on a public forum, this video. There will be people who see it, who will agree with what I'm saying. There will be people who will see it, who will disagree with what I'm saying. Now, as long as that agreement or disagreement is voiced respectfully, you know, that's something I have to accept. I have to be prepared to accept the possibility that there will be disagreement. Now, there may be very passionate disagreement. Now, on forums like YouTube, I can always delete, in so much as I can hide the comments if I think they're really, really inappropriate. And there are rules on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter as to what can be said and what can't be said. And obviously you can report abusive messages, and the powers that be can take action. But this notion that just because this woman is Christian, somehow it excuses or justifies her actions in this regard is nuts. So I hope the judge looks at this case and just tosses it. Just says, look, go and get a life, woman. Really? Seriously? Stop bullying people. She's entitled to her beliefs. And in her privacy, she's entitled to voice those beliefs in the privacy of her own home. She's entitled, if someone asks her a particular question, to voice those beliefs, again, respectfully and, without inflaming, or without intent to inflame. But what she doesn't have the right to do is to go into her workplace and push her beliefs and bully and abuse others, and then hide behind her Christianity as a supposed shield against being fired. So she was rightly fired. I am glad that she got fired. What she did was not acceptable. It's not Christian persecution. Supposedly there's a religious law group that's going to defend her. I actually think that itself raises issues. You would think that in order to make any case of religious persecution, any law firm would actually only take those cases that were actual religious persecution, which this clearly is not. There's not really any religious persecution in this country. Yes, guess what? Gay people exist. That's not persecuting Christians or any other religion. Gay people are seen as equal under the law. That's not persecuting religion. Gay people can get married. That's not persecuting religion. A religious person bullying someone simply because they're gay, that's persecution. That's discrimination. That's bullying. And if you do that in your workplace, you have every right to get fired. Simple as that. So as I say, I'm going to let you look at it. It's a very short. It's a very, very short piece, and I'll be back soon with another video.